Now after we've adjusted our stuffer door and from the back to front and side to side, we're going to want to go in here and we're going to adjust our stuffer trip. Alright, so the very first thing we're doing is you're going to take your pry bar, you're going to stick it down in here, and you're going to push down on the door here. You can't come and pull on this because you can see when you pull on that, it changes the distance up in here. So we're going to push down. We're in this discussion, we're going to be talking in millimeters. So this little gauge I have, this is 3 millimeters, and we're going to take it, we're going to stick it up in here, and you can see that it won't fit up inside of here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come right here, and we're going to loosen this up. This up here. We're going to hammer it towards the front just a little bit. I'm going to tighten that up. Then we're going to come here with our pry bar again. We're going to push down. Then we can take our gauge and we're just going to stick it up in here. Now in the book it talks about 3 to 5 millimeters. We have found that 3 millimeters works the best for us right here. Now after we're done in the trip position and with this arm up against the stop, so we're going to measure our spring length here. Going to make sure this arm is in the trip position all the way up. We're going to measure from eye hook here to eye hook here. Now the book shows it to be 6 3/4 of an inch from eye hook to eye hook. We always kind of use as a starting out point a 7 inches on our spring length. And the reason for this, you can see when this is reset, so when it comes up, it trips and resets. Now if I remember that little 5/16 bolt that's down underneath there that we use to adjust our door. Well, when we pull on this, you can see it's not all the way up against there. And we want that to be all the way up to the top, so we're using that full inch to push down on that door to start to make our next bell here. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and put this in trip position, pull on this again. We're going to come right over here on this spring and we're going to loosen this jam nut. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to tighten it up. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll tighten it up again. So measuring again from eye hook to eye hook, we're going to go about 7 inches. And we'll go ahead, take this, reset it. Okay, we can still see. Tip it again. Go ahead, lift this up, push it forward. Okay, you can see that it's up against their tight. So we've already, okay, right there, it was still a little bit of play, which is fine. We'll come over here and we'll just tighten this up a few more turns. Go ahead, trip this again. Go ahead, reset it. Okay, now it's up against their tight. Let's see where we ended up at. So we ended up just a little over 7 inches right there, which is fine. Now remember, on our spring length is used to adjust our flake size. So the lighter the spring is going to be, the more flakes per bell. The tighter it's going to be, the fewer flakes a bell, fewer flakes that are going to be in your bell. Now after we have this adjusted here, we'll go ahead, come over here, take this jam nut, and we'll go ahead and tighten it back down. Now we'll come over here, and the next thing we're going to do is we want our center line right here. So the center of our roller, we want it to be from the edge here in. We want it to be, the book talks about 18 to 20 millimeters in here. We have found that's too much. By doing that, by making this gap closer, what happens is this roller will come over and hit in here, and it makes it so it's not sitting and hitting right and wants to bounce off, and kind of gives us some problems on our stuffer drive. So we find if we take our millimeter gauge here, set it up here, and measure from here to about 12 millimeters is where we want to be. So to do this adjustment, we're going to take our 2 3/4 inch wrenches. We're going to put one right here. So this is right-handed thread. We're going to come down here, and this is left-handed thread. Now yours might be just the opposite. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to take and we're going to turn this right to here. We'll take our gauge, put it back up to here, and you can see that's about our 12 millimeters where we want to be, is right there. And then we'll go ahead and tighten this down. Put our wrench right in here. Tighten that jam nut. Go ahead and bring this nut up against here tight. Okay, so now after that's how we go ahead and we adjust our stuffer trip arm and linkage.